Well, it's time now for our Friday Sports Report, and we begin with our first sit-down sports chat of 2014 with Sonny Young of the Sonny Side of Sports. Hello, Sonny. This is interesting.
Hello, Vincent, and Happy New Year.
Oh, same to you. Now, what a year 2013 was. And, looking back, I thought maybe, it started somewhere well, and then somewhere early in the year, we had the Boston bombings at the marathon.
Yeah, it was an exciting year in sports, also a tragic year in sports, Vincent. In April of 2013, there was that bombing at the finish line of the Boston Marathon in the eastern state of Massachusetts. Two bombs, actually. They went off very close to each other. About 200 people were injured, and I think the death toll was 3. Yeah. But it really kind of overshadowed the victories by African athletes in that race.
Yeah, and one of the most exciting stories we had, carrying it over actually from even the previous year, was Oscar Pistorius of South Africa, the guy with the artificial legs, was doing so well. Everybody was looking forward to his future, and then suddenly a damper.
Another somber, tragic story, formally indicted for murder. And that case has not yet been resolved. So that's going to be probably in the headlines in 2014, Vincent.
Let's talk about the positive things, Sonny. We had an exciting year.
Yeah, I think one of my African athletic highlights from 2013 took place in late September in Berlin, Germany. Wilson Kipsang, 31 years old, from Kenya. He smashed, and I do mean smashed, the marathon world record. He clocked, see if I can get this right, 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 23 seconds. He broke the previous mark by 15 seconds, which in marathon terms, 15 seconds is a huge margin. The previous record holder was another Kenyan, Patrick Makau. But Kipsang just crushed the record, and I think he might hold on to it for a while.
I think he had... Adib ran in Beirut, or was it after Beirut that he won again?
I don't think he's competed internationally since Berlin. Yeah. He'll probably run at least 1 or 2 of the major marathons this year. I'm thinking possibly maybe Boston in April, and bringing it back to Boston. I think this year it'll be a little more joyful for the runners who compete in Boston, but. Getting back to Kipsang, Vincent, his pedigree includes a bronze medal at the 2012 London Olympics, and a little bird whispered in my ear before the show that you might have an Olympic bronze medal in your family tree. Tell us about that.
As a matter of fact, I think somewhere in my blood, in my bones, I got an athletic streak. But I personally haven't managed to run. But my uncle, this is my father's older brother, was actually an Olympiad. And even before going to the Olympics in 1956, Arerian India, those are his names, he competed in Britain. That was way back when Kenya was still under the British colony. And in 1956, he participated in the Triple A championship. That is the Athletic Association, something like that, the International Athletic Association in Britain. And he got a good number. He got a third. He became third. And then later on, again in 1958, he participated in another international event where he became the first Kenyan ever to win an award in an intercontinental event. This was in Britain. Then later he went to Mexico, the Olympics, where he got a bronze medal, and also participated in the Berlin, Germany Olympics later on. So, it was very exciting, but since then he's passed on.
So he was maybe one of those pioneers along with Kip Keino.
He was one of the pioneers along with Kip Keino, Nyandika Mayoro, there's a fellow called Nyandika Mayoro, and somebody else called Temu. These were like the pioneers of Kenyan athletics. They actually are the inspiration to all the other Kenyans that we've seen come after them. So I'm proud of that heritage.
So has he been an inspiration for you in terms of your athletic career?
In a way, although personally I haven't managed to do it, but I'm proud to know that so many Kenyans have been inspired by my uncle, Arere and Intia, and it's good to know that. Now, a little bit, let's look ahead. What are some of the highlights you're looking forward to, perhaps if you leave athletics and jump onto the world of soccer?
The big event, bar none this year, Vincent, will be the World Cup in Brazil. It kicks off on June 12th in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And the opening match will feature the host country, the Samba Boys from Brazil. They'll play Croatia in the tournament's opening match. 5 African teams will be competing in Brazil. We have Ghana, which reached the quarterfinals at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. We have Nigeria, the reigning African champions in football. We also have Cameroon. We have Algeria. And the last African team is Ivory Coast. Yeah. If you want to put me on the spot, Ghana has a very, very difficult World Cup group, Vincent.
Very tough, and we cannot forget the last time there was such a disappointment. But one thing I noticed is that almost the teams in this time's World Cup, this year's World Cup, are almost the same teams that were there the previous World Cup.
In fact, if it's deja vu for you, Vincent, those 5 African teams I mentioned, they did qualify for the last World Cup. The only new team at the last World Cup was the host country, South Africa. But yes, those 5 African teams competed in South Africa. Some great storylines. Ivory Coast. It's being called really the golden generation for Ivory Coast, and that this might be their last chance to achieve World Cup glory. You have players like Didier Drogba, Yaya Toure, the reigning African footballer of the year.
We'll be watching, Sonny.
So it should be exciting.
Watching. There's much hope, much excitement ahead of us. Well, that's Sonny Young. Be sure to watch the Sonny Side of Sports every Monday and Friday right here on Africa 54. And that's our show for today. Have a good night. Thank you for watching.